Hey guys, Eileen Vick here for Adult Coloring with Eileen Vick, and I'm ready to do another video. You guys are keeping me busy by sending in your suggestions of what you'd like me to color. I'm just in the process of finishing up the cats. You've seen my previous videos. I got to put in my background, color my pyramids, color a few more things, spray it, we're good to go. And thank you so much for all your comments on it. I really appreciate that. Okay, so as I promised, when I get a request, I'll look into doing it, and if I can, I certainly will. So my next request has come from, again, Worlds Within Worlds, which is fine. If you don't have it, at least watch the video for the techniques. And I have been asked to do the dragon with the Chinese skates. Let me pull you out. Isn't that beautiful? And I've already started coloring some of the scales so you can get an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to show you how to do the flames. Fun project I envision. So what I'm going to be doing in a nutshell is I'm going to be coloring all these scales. You can see they're darker than the fire. And I'm going to color these down to about here, I think. And then I'm going to transition into more orangey. And then I'm going to, so that pops around and goes this way. And then the next part of the tail goes this way, which I believe I'm going to do the browns. Now, to me, this is all fire. It's not clouds, it's not water, it's not liquid. So I'm gonna keep it with nice and bright oranges and reds and golds and browns and everything that go with it. So I'm really excited to do this one. I'm really glad. Thank you for asking it to be done. This was on my list to do, so that works out really well. All right, but before I do that, I need to talk to you a little bit about some information that I gave you that I need to clarify. Let me bring the Kirby book down just so that I have a background. All right, so the other day I was showing you, or on my last video, I was showing you how I was using the petroleum jelly to go ahead and smooth out what I was coloring. And I wasn't exactly sure, let me pull you in a little bit, I wasn't exactly sure why I hadn't seen it a lot, and I found out from one of my colorists, and the person that gave me this information, her information is on, you can see it, that I posted, is Sandra, and she runs Color Creatively. And I would highly, highly recommend that you subscribe to her. She's a wonderful lady, really nice lady, kind, and I think that she can show you some really nice things as well. All right, so let me talk about this petroleum jelly a little bit. So Sandy sent me an email, and let me read it to you because it's the best information. Eileen, you mentioned on your last video that you didn't understand why more people aren't blending with petroleum jelly. FYI, the petroleum jelly stays in your paper and never dissipates. It never dries. It stays in the paper forever. If too much is used, you will see over time oil spots. Bummer. I have felt that I wasn't using too much myself, but it took time for the spots to appear. I find that odorless mineral spirits, which can be purchased at any hardware store, will blend pencils beautifully and it evaporates completely without any residue. And it is cheap. Over time, there is no problem with it, Even if you accidentally oversaturate your paper or spill on it, there will be no stain if you let it air dry and do nothing to your paper. It evaporates rather quickly. Also, another alternative is, it's called Zest It, Z-E-S-T-It pencil blend from the UK, which is my choice of blending mediums. It is considered non-toxic, comes in orange scent or odorless. Baby oil stays in the paper, also like the petroleum jelly. Just wanted to answer your question. This is why you don't see the coloring community using petroleum jelly anymore. In other words, the coloring community used to, but not anymore. That was my comment. It was popular a few years ago, but not now, says Sandy. And petroleum jelly limits the amount of layers you can put on your color, which I knew already. On your color or coloring or book on blah, blah, blah. Let me try this again. Petroleum jelly limits the amount of layers you can put on your color book pages. Odorless mineral spirits or Zest It do not do that. You can use many layers with these products as you want, and the tooth of the paper is not affected. Alrighty, so I want you to completely ignore the information that I told you. My last video about this petroleum jelly that I got excited about. I thought I'd seen it a few years back and then just hadn't been seeing it recently. And Sandy saved my bacon and sent me the email, which I read to you in its entirety. So I want you to watch this. Watch. Boom. Boom. Don't use petroleum jelly. Okay? I hope I made my point. All right. So let me put my permanent marker away. You love me, my theatrics, but really, I did want to make a point. Don't use it. Okay. So let me move this book, this wonderful, wonderful book that we all love. And let's talk about this new project that I've been requested to do. Yay! There we go. Oh, so by the way, go ahead and consider subscribing to Sandy. Her information is up on my screen. You can get a hold of her, you know, search her on YouTube, and you'll find her very quickly. Okay, so let's get coloring. All right, fun stuff. Oh, let me get situated here. All right, so I'm doing the dragon with the gates. Now, obviously, this is going to take a few sessions, which is fine. And you know that I like to color ahead a little bit just to kind of situate you as to where I'm going with this. So tonight, I'm going to be coloring some of the, show you how to color the flames, because I'm going to go like super bright on this. I think this is a gorgeous picture and we can have a lot of fun with it. Now, you may be wondering, you know, when we get to here and it's now the Oriental peace, you know, peaceful, quiet, serene, yada, yada, yada. And what I'm going to be doing with that is I'm still going to treat this as smoky clouds, and I'm going to go ahead and make it grays and blacks. So this will be fun too. I think this will be a tremendous project. I hope you guys love it as much as I'm looking forward to doing it for you. All right, so let's talk some colors here. We got some basic colors going on. Let me get my piece of paper. And again, you know that I don't fuss about the particular brand of pencil because we all have different brands. And I know that some of you, you know, don't prefer that, but hey, you know, look, you can match colors because I carefully show you what they are. And so I'm just sharpening my pencils. And so it really won't be any trouble. I just really hate to name a particular, you know, one set of pencils because I think my different sets have Beautiful, beautiful colors. One may not have a glorious red where another one does. All right, so let's start out. My first color is my glorious red. This is my Zenacolor Dark Red CP072 if you happen to have Zenacolor. And let me pull you in so you can see this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a healthy red. I love it. Red's one of my favorite colors. My most favorite's purple, but I love red as well. All right, then I'm using orange, which is, this is the Sevo Vivid. So there's my orange. It's a healthy orange. Pretty color. Then I'm using a Shuttle Art. By the way, I love Shuttle Art pencils. This is called Tan number 169. Got a nice brown to it. And then I have the Premier Prismacolor. Yeah, PC 916. So as fate would have it, I've got 4 different pencil brands. Woo! Fun. All right, so there's my palette. Let me pull you in a little closer so you can look to match what we're doing. Pretty, pretty colors, and we're gonna do a lot with it. And I think you're gonna like it. All right. So let me pull you out, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color some flames. So if you haven't done it before, now you'll know how to do it. It is very straightforward. Let me find a good flame to color. All right. Pull you in. You know that I like to work a lot in close-up view. I do that for you. Sometimes it makes my work look awful because close-up view shows all the bobbles in it, especially before it's sprayed with my fixative, but I don't mind at all because I want you to see this. All right, so I'm taking my yellow and I'm basically gonna color at the base. All right. Now, I don't care if you color the yellow first or not. Totally up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's fine. You say tomato, I say tomato. You know, doesn't matter. But what I do care about is, now I'm going to use the red. Pull you back in. Now, if you've followed me and been with me for a while, you know I always tell you not to apply your color dark first. Well, this is an exception to the rule because I know I want the dark red. So then I'm going to take my orange and I'm going to color that on a little bit on top of my red. And I'm just closing off that one flame. Okay, and this is going to work a lot better on this next one. Be sure you keep a sharp point, so I'm going to be sharpening a lot. I get lots of questions about my sharpeners, which is fine. It's a hot issue. Let me take 2 seconds and show you what I use. It's a number of them. Okay, so this is my first one. Boswish Twist and Sharp. I think I got it at Walmart. It's got a little side doohickey here that you can open this and then dump out the shavings. Just a standard little shaving or sharpener. And then this guy called what, Academic? Yeah, it's Academic. And it's got 2 holes in it, which is good because the Derwents don't fit in the smaller one. It's got the little hinge thingy, and you just dump out, which I better do, dump out shavings. Okay, and then from Amazon, I bought the Prismacolor Scholar. I think it was a package of 8 or 10, 6, 8, or 10, one of the 3. I don't remember, sorry. And I really like this. This is a good one. And then I have a Cum sharpener, which is somewhere down in the bottom of my bowl here. I sharpen over this bowl. So that's my little metal guy. You can buy replacement blades, but it's funny, it's almost cheaper to buy the whole thing rather than the replacement blades, which I think is a terrible waste, but hey. And then at Walmart, I bought these really cheap sharpeners, which work beautifully. See? So that's the 3 I have. Let me dump the shavings here. So the point of what I'm telling you is, so I've got the 3, 4, 5, 6 sharpeners. And actually I've got a 7th one from Fiskars. And this is really a weird one. The blades are in the bottom here. And you push this up and then you gotta hold it and then you sharpen your pencil. And honestly, I don't know what would happen if I held it upside down. I don't think it has an opening, because for me, it's more comfortable to hold it like this and then sharpen, but I think you're supposed to hold it like that and sharpen. And again, this has 2 holes, and then the stuff falls out the bottom. I don't use this one a lot because I gotta mess with it, but hey, it's there. So the point of all this about my sharpeners is, when one doesn't work, if it's breaking my points, I just jump to another one. So do yourself a favor and get yourself several of them. Excuse me while I take some water. And that lovely piano music that you hear is my Whisperings piano. It is 100% piano. I pay for it, 30 bucks a year. It's super cheap. And I love to play it in the background. I love to color to it. So, and you guys seem to love it as well. All right, so let me continue here. So I've sharpened my pencils. Now you want your red to extend a good distance. Because the red is the overpowering color. And then for anybody that's new, you know, I like to use my brush. Just a little review, guys. This is my Staedtler brush. Bought it off of Amazon. It's a Draftsman brush, and I use it to brush off stuff instead of my hand, because when you use your hand, you inadvertently end up pushing your hand into your page and the oils and everything. So the brush is a lot better. All right, so now I've done my red and my yellow. So now I'm gonna merge my orange into that. And you want that line to disappear between the two, the red and the orange, as much as you can. Voila, we've got a good flame. So I'm gonna do a few of these puppies for you. By the way, I wanted to thank you guys for bumping me over 1,000 on my subscription. Woohoo! Now I can do live broadcasts on, on YouTube. And that tells me that you like what I'm doing, obviously, which is more important. And guys, I have absolutely no problems at all if you use my methods of coloring, and, you know, if I show you something different that you normally don't see. I'm not going to get my, you know, panties in a bunch if you use it, and, you know, that's the whole point. That's why I teach. But what I do ask is please credit the source, will you? That's important to me, and I would appreciate that. Okay, now look, see how I've got my red going into the orange here? Yeah. I mean, imagine now this whole red and orange and yellow, just the whole length of this dragon. It's going to be beautiful. Let me move you just a tad here. Again, I want a nice healthy red on the tips, and when you come down with your color, do not end squared off like that. End with it jagged because you're blending it into the orange. Okay. Oops, and I missed the yellow on that. Got it down here, but not right here. So you can now see the really neat effect that's starting to pop up. And I'm going to need to talk to you about how I'm doing this, because I'm doing it a little bit different, because I've got red and orange here and I don't want the colors conflicting. I want them complementing. See, look at this. We had a flame right in the middle, yellow, orange, red. Okay? So when you do this stuff with the scales, you got to think it through. It's not complex. It's not hard. You just got to think about what's going to happen with your colors when you know, put them side by side. Pretty. And these scales are very forgiving. You really don't have to be super precise where you blend them and where you don't. Let me sharpen my red. On the red, at least, you have to keep your point sharp because we're dealing with the ends right here. And again, notice my jagged edge on the red. I don't end up in a square. Oh, anyway, so blending comes back. There's a product called Gamasol, which I'm reading is very, very safe to use. It's a chemical, but a lot of people use it for blending. It's a mineral oil. Go to YouTube, look up Gamasol. I think it's G-A-M-S-O-L, Gamasol, and look it up and watch the videos and you'll learn quite a bit about it. Okay, now I've got layered scales here, so that needs to be yellow as well. See, I colored it down there. Okay, and that needs to be yellow. And that needs to be yellow. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna put my pages together for a second because I gotta see how this is gonna play out. Yeah. Okay, so we got that. And those are not quite matching. Printing problem, don't know what it is. All right, so I'm gonna take my red and I'm gonna go ahead and color that in. And I'm not gonna touch this because this is separate. It's up in the air, so we're good there. But if that were matching, there we go. And while I'm here, I'm going to color this. And I'm going to, hopefully I'm not off camera. And I'm going to color that. And I'm going to color this one. It's awkward. And something is bumpy underneath my table. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm running the yellow over the orange, but I'm not running the orange over the red because I want that red to be as bold and vibrant as possible. All right, let me brush this off. Get rid of the second page here because we're working this one. Pull it out just a little bit. Oh man, look how gorgeous that looks. So the main thing, guys, is I want to make sure that you are comfortable using, or I'm sorry, coloring flames. That's the whole idea here. Now, when you color your orange, don't go over your yellow all the way. Having said that, you're going to notice a couple of areas that I did do that. Right in here. It's better that you don't until we wait and see how this part here is going to look next to it. But my gut feeling is we want that bright yellow next to it. And as you saw in the picture, sharpen that. As you saw in the picture that's been up on the screen, you can see where I got my inspiration for the flames. Don't ever hesitate to go out to Google and look up stuff like flames if you're having trouble envisioning or visualizing how something should look. Okay, my brown pencil is not cooperating. Hold on. Let me move that so you can look at the whole thing while I'm arguing with this brown pencil, sharpening it. Don't you hate that when you have a pencil that no matter what you use to sharpen it, it won't? But I've got so many brands, well not a lot, but enough brands that I can just switch to another pencil brand. I'll get something comparable. And I've had to do that several times. All right, let me sharpen my red. So now I just want to make sure that my red is prominent, which it is. Now see, I've got too much orange right here. I need to pull down that red. Now, obviously for layering reasons, because you don't want your colors to pill, you should try and get your distances correct in the first place. In other words, I should have brought down this red further instead of having to fix it after the fact. But that's okay, it happens. A lot of your coloring, guys, is just simple planning ahead. But if you didn't and need to fix something, that's okay. All right. Oops. Looking good. What do you think? I love it. I think it's just, I love it. Okay, now let me do a couple more of these dragon flames, only because they're inside behind the head, behind the horns, and that's gonna make this look really cool. Give me a second here. Which brings me to another thought. I hear a lot of people tell me they don't know how to start their projects. You know, they're looking at a blank page. Well, what I always recommend to them is to take something that's somewhat obvious the way you're going to color it and go ahead and color it. For example, this has some trees in it. So go ahead and color your trees. Okay, now I gotta look at this and see. All right, so let me... I'm gonna color this. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to color the tips red. Pull you in. Remember, you want your red base to be jagged. Let's see, the red would probably come down to about there on here, so I'm just going to make that orange. Oops. And if you're not sure about something, bypass it. Okay, we're good there. All right. And I'm going to sit tight with this red and this orange on this one until I decide what to do with this yellow, because that's starting to go into the horn. And I need to think about that horn so I can always go back. Oh yeah. Boy, that looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay. And I need to do the orange right here. Now, see right here where I left a little bit of the yellow show? Whenever you have something interfere, try not to come up next to it with a solid color. If there's something in transition, let it transition just prior to whatever's crossing it. I'll pull you in. So that's why I didn't let this orange come all the way down. Okay. Now, sometimes I understand you can't help it, but in general, that's just a good practice. Okay, so for now, I'm happy with this. Let me pull out. Yeah. Fierce. Look how neat that's looking. Not sure what to do here. I mean, that looks like that's going to be the red. Not sure with that little puppy. So for now, I'm going to leave it. Okay, let me show you how I'm doing the scales, because that's interesting in itself. We're at 41 minutes right now. All right. So I'm taking, turn that. I'm taking my red and I'm coloring firmly on my Kirby drawn lines. My pressure's about a 9 or a 10. And again, I already knew that I wanted this dark, so I didn't worry, because you know I always tell you, whenever you color something, start light. And let your pencil strokes do the work. And don't let this, see right here, don't let that be choppy and straight across. Otherwise it looks wonky. You know wonky's my word, right? If I don't use wonky at least once in any of my broadcasts, you know I'm not feeling well. All right. And then I'll stop at this one here. Okay, so I've got my red, right? Now I'm going to come back with my orange and go right over the top of that red. Because I, in effect, want to mute that red color. Why? Because I've got some really nice flames going here and I don't want this fighting with each other. Okay, and then whenever I finish coloring, I usually brush that just to clean off any gunk. All right, now, what do you notice about, let me pull out. What do you notice about the colors of the scales? Just take a look a minute. You should be noticing that this looks brighter orange and red than this part does here. And that's correct. Again, I don't want this red and this orange conflicting with my beautiful flames. Okay, so what I did two things. I took my brown, my same tan color, and I edged this. That darn lead broke again, hold on. That is really annoying. Okay, see how neat that looks with that brown edge? And don't get careless with it. In other words, just don't color straight. You know, curve your color. Okay, and then what I did, even after doing my edge, and I may grab another darker brown yet and darken that. You just got to be careful the number, you know, the layers that you put on there. All right, so you can still see a color change between this and this. Why? Because then I went back and I lightly went over my red and my orange with my brown pencil. Be careful you don't wipe out that flame. Here, let me fix this. It looks like there's a gap right there. There we go. Let me pull you in. So now what I'm doing is I'm going over each individual scale. And I'm muting down those colors because I don't want them bright. Look how sweet that looks now. Isn't that neat? And yeah, I can see coming back with even darker brown yet and defining these edges a little bit more. Let me pull out. All right, isn't that neat? I love it. All right, and as I've told you before, see where all this yellow is now on this edge? I'm still debating how much I want that. But keep in mind that I have these scales that are orange and red, and I need some kind of barrier between those so everything pops in color and it's not conflicting. Let me get some water here. Okay, so for now, I'm done showing you that. And as I said, I'm going to be running this color scheme down probably to about, well, I guess you can't see if I don't pull you out. Probably down to about here where it narrows down. And then I'm going to do something with oranges, lighter orange. Okay, that's Vicky saying hello. And then remember, I'm getting further away from the head of the dragon and more into the greenery brown stuff. So that'll be orange. This, you know, this goes around and comes over. And then I'm going to have some browns, which will work out because I've got the browns here with these, with the Chinese gates. Okay. So overall, so far, I'm happy with this. This is going to be a very bold piece. All right, so let me get my paper out of the way. Oh, and there's two things I want to do yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is this eyebrow. Let me pull in. I didn't want to do the eyebrow exactly the same, and if my brown cooperates. So this is where, guys, you want to come in with very light colors. When you're figuring out colors and seeing how something's going to look, don't go too heavy with it. See how I'm curving that? Okay, so I really wanted a frowny dragon, but I've got so much red and orange and yellow that I felt that I needed to change up the color scheme a little bit. Not to mention the fact that when I go to color the face, I'm going to be using more browns and reds, okay? So now what I'm going to do is get my red. Nice and light so far. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. Okay, I like that, how that's coming out. So now I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to go ahead and darken my brown. To make my angrier looking dragon. And guys, you know, and I've told you this and told you this and told you this, but again, I say it for my new people. If I screw something up or don't like something, I'll tell you. You know, sometimes when I color, I have a plan in mind. In other words, it's kind of weird, I don't know how to explain it, but when I look at a page, I can almost instantaneously see how I'm going to color it. I start to see the colors and the layout and, you know, the whole bit. But then, sometimes as I get going, it turns into seem like it was a good idea at the time, things. Okay, now by the way, see, I'm going to make this red at the top a little more robust. Just a little bit of a shading. See that? Let's see if you can see that. See that? Now that's a little hard because it's narrower, but see the slight difference between here, and you can see the red streak right there. That's another little thing I want you to consider when you color stuff. I'm going to just fill that in. Is don't just color an area one color color and area shades of that color. So let me pull you out so you can see how this guy looks now. And let me turn him. See? Keeping in mind now that his face is going to be more of, not the horns, more browns and reds. Okay? So, yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, a little more water. Excuse me. Okay, now the last thing I want to show you is an idea that I had about some kind of flame coming out of the dragon's mouth. And as you can see, the picture on your screen now, that's my inspiration. And again, I encourage you, go to Google, and whenever you want to do something, Google pictures and use them for your inspiration. It's not cheating. It's just a good thing to do. And you'll come up with some really, really great pieces. All right. So hopefully this idea is going to turn out well. As you can see, the picture now that I'm saying is inspiring me. So I'm going to take my protractor and I'm going to draw a yellow line, because that's where, hopefully you can see that, because that's where the fire burst is starting to come out. And again, you can see that in the pictures that I put up for you to look at. So we want to make a small V with this, right? Look at the picture. So I'm either going to call this a seemed like a good idea at the time, meaning it didn't come out the way I wanted, or I'm going to call it, I don't know if I should say happy accident, or I just call it, oh, Eileen has skill. Oh, I'm just being silly. That's why you love me. Okay, oops. So I want to bring out that burst from the mouth. Now, ideally, if I can do it without it looking wonky, I want to make this just a little wider here, because I want to pull there. That's what I wanted. All right. Then, excuse me, and I may widen this a little bit more as I look at it, you know, I will see. Oh yeah. Okay, now, hope I don't ruin it. So now I'm going to take some orange. And I'm going to pull some color. Now, I don't want to take my orange back here to the back of the mouth, because if you look in the picture on your screen, that is yellow bright, right? Okay, now I'm going to quit fussing with that, because I have a bad habit, as my regulars know, that I fuss with stuff. And I fuss, and I fuss. Now, I'm not done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the red. Now, remember, when you have a flame, all right, I'm going to pop that picture up for a second here. Let me see if I can find it. When you have a flame, there it is. You have the white at the bottom, which is white hot, right? Then you have orange, then you have red. So really, the red is your coolest part. So now, boy, I love how that came out, is what I'm going to do. Wow, wow, look at that. Isn't that neat? Again, I may even widen that a little more. We'll see. But these guys here are affected by the fire coming out of the dragon's mouth, right? So the top parts are going to be my darker red. And my bottom parts are going to be lighter pink. Now, I'm just penciling this in, guys, so we'll see how that actually looks. But hopefully right now you're either going, wow, or you're going, ew. You can tell me in the comments. Okay. And the other clouds then are going to be the more to the grayish side. And it would help if I stay on camera. Oops. It's so funny. I always feel not bad, you know, but I hate that when I pop off camera. And, you know, I really work to try not to do that. But I have to laugh because as I watch other people's videos, they do the same thing. They color away and they're off from the shot. All right, so let me get this red. So I'm thinking the rest of these clouds are going to be like grayish, dark gray, because they're furthest away from the dragon. But when I saw this picture and came up with the idea to pull that fire out of the mouth, I thought, yeah, this would be neat with the clouds. And I've got a little bit of an overlap on color. Maybe you didn't see it, but I do. Yeah. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm thinking that looks pretty cool right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly put a little bit of yellow here. Now the teeth, I'll go back and erase the yellow and, you know, do the teeth colors that I want to do. But I want to do a very, very light yellow now. Oh, man. What's that one commercial? Is it McDonald's says I'm loving it? Beautiful. Look at that. I'm good. I gotta quit fussing with it. All right, guys. I really, really hope that this gives you some really great design ideas. I'm having a lot of fun doing this for you. I'm happy with the way it's turning out. And I'm gonna quit now because we're at an hour. I'm at an hour. So I'll be continuing with the dragon. I'll go ahead and on my own, I'll be doing these scales now because you know the colors. And then when I come back on camera, I'll do the, you know, next set of colors, maybe, or I'll just do it, we'll see. And then we'll talk about how to do the Oriental Bridge. All right, guys, I really, really hope you enjoyed that. More importantly, I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. I had fun showing you. I'm glad you joined me. Guys, joyous, joyous colorings. God bless you. Stay calm in all this stuff that's going on. You just spent a beautiful hour together and the world stayed together, right? So don't worry about it. All right, guys. Joyous, joyous coloring. Joyous, joyous coloring. This is Eileen Vick for Adult Coloring with Eileen Vick. And I'm doing the dragon in the Worlds Within Worlds. Join me next time. I think you'll like it. All right, guys. Bye.